G'day and welcome to the next episode of Tech Adept Crafts. Some exciting news to start off with. Right before filming, checked the subscriptions. We've hit 200. Thank you guys. Really appreciate your patronage in this. What does that mean? Well, I said when we hit 200 subscribers that I would do another live show. Friday the 6th of November, I'll do a live show. What will I paint? What will I build? That is up to you. Some stage over the weekend or early next week, I will post a survey video for you. But if you have some suggestions, leave them in a comment down below and I'll add that to the survey. This week's episode, continuation of the river project that I posted last week. This week we're doing crossings. I have fords. A ford is usually a lowland area within the river where it's a lot more shallow and people can actually cross across the river. But one of my favorite pieces of terrain I have built in a long while. I am loving this stone bridge. I know it doesn't look it, but this was very simple to do. It took a little bit of time to paint just because of the stonework, but it was really simple. Watch the video, you'll see what I mean. The building time was next to nothing. I built this, I think, in a day and a half. I'm loving those texture rollers. That is the texture rollers that I did a video on. I'll put a link above. So you can see here there's a few little monsters here that I'll eventually use, but I gotta say, I now have water features. So what I really should be doing is throwing out water elementals. Oh yes, we're gonna bring some of these bad boys out, but you know, you've got golems, you've got earth elementals that could actually form out of the bridge, or you could just, you know, have some big bad mean guy defending the bridge. Whatever you want to do. Some leftover clay, just made some really simple bases. There are 2 more videos to come in my river series from what I can feel. I do want to end up putting the resin effects on the river and make it look like it is flowing water. So that'll be one. But the next one that I want to do is actually a water mill. Now I'm not going to give too much away about this. It is a construction kit based on a really cheap model, and I'm going to see what I can do with it. I'd like to give a shout out to Colonel Corn, who made the comment that it was the Skaven in the Skaven and the Empire in the previous video. Next shout out goes to my year 12s and to all the year 12 from school. Music students, you had your exam last week, your oral exam last week, and I was very proud of you. I'd like to say a big congratulations to all of you. Cheers to a job well done. Now, on with the show, and I hope that you enjoy building bridges rather than tearing them down. See you at the end.
First up, I'm making a cardboard base for the ford and the bridge. These are techniques straight from the previous video, so just go watch the rivers. I am making the banks of the ford a lot wider as I want a more gentle slope to that bank. And you can see they match up just like the other river pieces do. Space is there for the crossing and for the bridge. For the next part, I'm using single layer corrugated cardboard and making a number of stepping stones and placing them in the middle. These will act as the risers in the middle of the river, just so that the resin that I put in at another stage doesn't go all the way to the bottom. It will look far more shallow. My next step is to place some small pebbles and use them to fill out the area around those stepping stones. Next I'm designing the bridge pieces. Now I do one and use it then as a template for the other. I want a nice gentle curve and I'm using double layered corrugated cardboard as the base. A nice curve on that tub there is acting as my guide. Don't forget when you're cutting corrugated cardboard, a sharp knife is absolutely essential, and do multiple takes. Don't try to draw that knife in one go. For the actual bridge component, I'm using cereal box card, and this will bend a lot easier than double corrugated cardboard. Mark out on your template where you're going to be sticking this. That'll make it a lot easier to put the glue down later as to where you want to stick this. I'm also using that cereal box card to cap the underneath of the bridge, just so it looks like there is some thickness to the stones. You may remember I designed this board for the texture rollers. I've gone back to it to choose this piece for the walls and this piece for the road base of the bridge. I'm using Das modeling clay, it's an air dry clay, old spray can as a rolling pin. By rolling out the bridge on the clay, I'm seeing how thick I need to cut that. I am gluing this down now as I don't want to run the risk of breaking the clay later to lift it and stick it down. To cover the joins here, I went back to my box of rollers and found a brickwork, and so I'm just making some simple little brick pylons. There is a step I seem to have missed recording, but after doing the tops of those walls with another texture roller, I'm now just shaping some of that clay to create capping stones. I want these roughly square, but to look like rather large stones. So here are the 4 rollers that I ended up using. The walls, the floor, the brickwork, and for the top of those walls. If you have leftover clay, don't throw it out. I made some bases. This one will work perfectly for a large figure to work with my bridge. Now onto the multi-purpose filler that I've used in other videos, so I won't go through the mixing process. This is going over everything. I tried to get it in between all of those stones and the platforms that I put on the Ford, however I did end up dislodging several of those stones. Didn't really matter in the end though. I'm using a very little bit of water here just on my finger to smooth off the tops of the pebbles that I placed there. That way they don't have that texture, and I think that'll be a little bit more natural. Up to painting, first layer, Mod Podge, all over everything. Next layer of paint is a dry brush of my grey mix. Again, this goes over everything. Now going through painting the rivers, trying to match them as close as possible to what I did for the other river pieces. Now time to paint the stones. So I use my 3 different browns that I have, the household Bunnings paints, and I pick out individual bricks, individual stones with the 3 different colors. I try to do this as random as possible, just to make it that they are different stones that might have been taken from different areas to make this bridge. now have two dry brush colours, this aqua over the river and a light grey to go over the river and the stones as well. This light grey over the brickwork and the stonework will help to tie all of those browns together. I decided to do an extra layer on the top stones, the capstones, which was my light grey mixed with a little bit of extra white and a mud brown. Applying now the brown wash. Recipe can be found on Black Magic Craft. This goes over all the stonework. I'm not doing this on the base. Once that's dry, we are dry brushing again with the light grey. The final step is applying the flock, and again I do random patches of this flock along the edges, but I'm now also adding sort of creeping moss up the sides of the stonework and along the edge of the bridge as well.
Well, there you have the bridge and ford, the river crossings. Hope that you enjoyed that and learnt something new. If you liked it, make sure that you hit subscribe and hit like and leave a comment down the bottom. Don't forget to turn your notifications on so that you never miss another video from TAC. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode, the live show. In the meantime, keep hobbying. Cheers.